we get more and more information about the coronavirus, we're learning more about how it affects each individual age group. With that in mind, we focus on some new data and how it impacts the very young.
And how are those fighting on the front lines against this virus holding up? We're going to focus on that angle. Also, we've been seeing many more messages of hope spreading throughout Northeast Ohio. We're going to bring you some of the really good ones.
And Mike Polk is on the hunt for, get this, Christmas lights. Some are finding that it brightens their mood. What's new starts now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Well, everybody, here we go again. It is finally Friday after a long week. You know, 1 week ago, you can't help but think things were different just a week ago. And now we
things change quickly.
Yeah, now we kind of get back into the weekend vibe and get set for next week because, you know, things are going to be changing some more. I'm Betsy Kling alongside Jay Crawford. And here's what's new at 5 o'clock. We're going to get you caught up on today's top coronavirus stories first. Today, Governor Mike DeWine confirmed that the man who died Wednesday did indeed die from coronavirus. Mark Wagner was 76 years old. He lived in Lucas County. It's out by Toledo. There are now 169 cases in the state of Ohio.
Betsy, this is big news. University hospitals, one of the first in the nation to test a drug that will fight COVID-19. They are part of two clinical trials. One will focus on patients with moderate COVID-19. The other will focus on patients with a more severe illness.
And Governor DeWine issued an order to close senior citizen centers and senior citizen daycares. They have to close by the end of the business day on Monday. So families are already scrambling to get all of their kids figured out and their child care figured out. And a lot of times now there's a social impact to the senior citizens closing. Sure. But for a lot of families, there's also, trying to take care of mom and dad at the same time as their kids.
Some of our first responders continue to face a high risk with low supplies situation to fight the coronavirus.
3 News investigator Rachel Polanski joins us live from Lorain County's Emergency Management Agency with more on this. Hi, Rachel.
Hey, Jay and Betsy. You know, the Lorain County Emergency Management Agency is made up of 39 fire departments and police agencies. That adds up to roughly 1,300 first responders. The director tells me that they are running low on just about all of their personal protective equipment. Now, that includes masks, gloves, and gowns. Right now, he says they only have about 295 masks left. Now, they put in a request to the State of Emergency Operations Center to get more equipment, but they were told it would be 70 days minimum.
But this has been quite different because it's not only just involving our county when we'd have a tornado or a flood or ice jam or something like that, but now we're not only working with the state of Ohio, but it's nationwide too. So it's been quite a challenge where we could normally ask for a resource so we could get it from a neighbor if we needed it. They're in the same situation we are.
And this has become such a big challenge for Lorain County Emergency Management that they are now accepting donations of masks, gloves, and gowns. Jay and Betsy.
That's really surprising to hear. What about hospitals, Rachel? How are they doing with the N95 masks? Do they have enough?
That's a great question. Now, I talked with Metro Health today, I talked with UH, and I talked with the Cleveland Clinic, and they all tell me, quote, that they have an adequate supply of these medical equipment.
All right, that's certainly good news. Rachel, thanks. We appreciate it.
Well, now on your feed at 5, the coronavirus might be having more of an impact on young people than originally thought. Remember when all the 20-year-olds were like, oh, this isn't going to impact us? Well, guess what? Everybody has the possibility of having an impact. Our Monica Robbins joins us live now with the latest on this and why. Hi, Monica.
Yeah, just in time for them to come back from spring break, right?
Yep.
You know, we have new data from the United States and Europe, and it's kind of concerning. CDC analysis released Wednesday shows 38% of those sick enough to be hospitalized were younger than 55. Earlier this week, the French Health Ministry said half of the 300 to 400 coronavirus patients treated in intensive care units in Paris were younger than 65, and half of the ICU patients in the Netherlands were younger than 50. We're also a nation of young people who have higher rates of obesity and diabetes, which could also present a problem.
We are seeing in this country, and there is some good data that was out in pediatrics and elsewhere about young people getting this and getting sick. So I just want us teenagers of every age, I've told you the 1 in 250 that die of 40 to 50-year-olds, and we're seeing a lot of younger people getting sick. So I just want everyone to take that seriously, knowing that we'll learn more every day, every hour about this.
Yep, that's why health officials are so serious about social distancing with any age. And we know older people are most at risk, but we were starting to see younger people impacted too. And parents, if you had kids returning from spring break, coming up in the Health Hub, I'll ask the doctor what you need to keep in mind when they come home.
Yeah, and that's critical because the younger people, particularly those that are coming back from high infected rate areas, need to make sure they stay away from the elderly. Monica, we have heard so much over the past 24 hours about this anti-malaria drug. It's called hydroxychloroquine. If you would, separate fact from fiction for those of the folks out there that believe that this might be some sort of a miracle drug in this fight.
Well, it was definitely a miracle drug when it came on the market in 1944 to fight malaria, but whether or not it is the answer to this crisis is still a long way off. We need to do a lot of clinical trials to find out if it works and at what dose and who should get it. Also, the preliminary trials in other countries have been giving it to people who already have pneumonia, and while it does show promise, the goal here is to avoid people getting that critical in the first place. We don't want them developing pneumonia. So I think this will definitely be a tool in the tool belt, hopefully, if it works.
I mean, it's just one of those things. This is not an all or nothing disease. It's not like you're either fine or you're, on death's door. You're going to feel like really bad if you get this, even if you aren't in the hospital with it.
Right, and I think there's a lot of things that are going to be developed in the coming months that are going to be tackling this, which is exactly what we need. We need a lot of research, and we need a lot of scientists working on different protocols and different drugs for this, and that's exactly what we're seeing.
And we know a lot of resources are doing just that. Monica, thank you very much. We'll see you in just a little bit with our Health Hub. Now, as we told you at the top of the show, beginning Monday, Governor DeWine is closing all of the state's senior centers and senior daycare centers. I want to stress here, these obviously do not include senior live-in centers.
Right.
That led many to the closure to the senior centers today to wonder what the governor was going to do about daycares. And that is certainly a concern for many. Would he keep them open, or would he finally shut them down? He has hinted they could close soon. Today, the governor did not announce a decision, but some daycares are not waiting. They're applying for a special permit from the state that would allow them to see kids from birth through 13 years old. Through the pandemic, all of the Loving Cup Kids Academy in Old Brooklyn, they've already seen a huge drop in kids showing up already. Last week, there were 76 kids there. Today, there were 8.
And now with the universities closing, with the high schools and schools closing, a lot of our families have older siblings and college students, so they're able to stay home with the younger children if they have to work.
We know that this impacts many of you at home. Coming up at 6 o'clock, Andrew Horansky is going to be on What Matters Most. He's going to tell us which daycares are most likely to stay open.
All right. Well, right now it's time to get a check of the other headlines making news today. Russ Mitchell joins us from over at the news desk. Hi there, Russ.
Hey, Betsy. Hey, Jay. Good afternoon, everybody. Shopping malls in Ohio have not officially been shut down by Governor DeWine, but some in our area are closing on their own. Those closures include Chapel Hill Mall and Summit Mall in Akron, along with the Aurora Farms premium outlets. Although the malls are closed, some of the services and locations like carry-out food options do remain open. The deadline for filing income taxes has been moved from April 15th to July 15th. President Trump made that announcement this morning. That means taxpayers and businesses will have additional time to file and make payments without interest or penalties. And a show of support in Rocky River today. The family who lives in this home on Wager Road made and hung this sign of "We are in this together." Certainly words we can all take into heart right now as we stand together while standing apart, someone said today. I really like that phrase. I think it's so true.
Yeah, very true. Words to live by for sure right now. Russ, thanks. We appreciate it. See you in a little bit.
Well, did you feel the chill in the air this afternoon? Did you feel the change as that front came through? We were out walking and enjoying times with a whole lot of other families down the street, waving across the street at each other. And now It's cold.
Here it comes.
And it's going to be the perfect weekend to stay in and watch movies. I love John Hughes movies, so I will stop and watch this anytime it pops up. But we are going to break down different streaming options for you. We're going to start with Netflix, and it's going to be hosting a movie night. Your friends can watch along with you. Interestingly enough, I actually have my boss's phone, so we're going to try and show you how to do this. But the NetflixParty.com on Google Chrome, if you don't have an iPhone, you have to get the Netflix Party for free and add the extension. Okay, see the little NP in the bar? That's a big deal. That means you have an extension. Then you start the party and everybody can watch together. Now that's pretty cool.
Together but apart.
Together but apart, exactly. It'll give you a URL and then you just share it to your favorite people. All right, so we've got this fancy TV that hooks up to Trisha's phone over here on the right, and it's supposed to pop up. There we go. And she called her son and got the passcode for their Netflix, so this is their thing. Now, this is an iPhone, obviously, and if you already have Netflix and don't want to do the whole Google Chrome thing, you can go to, maybe let's go to this My List up at the upper right underneath the battery and all that stuff. My List. There's Trisha's favorite shows. Now, we all know what
Those
you
are
like
both
to
good
watch.
shows, Trisha.
Okay, now
good
here's
taste.
the big thing. Do you see the little share icon there? Okay, you see the big red bar that says play, then go down below that. 1, 2, 3, there's a check mark, a thumbs up, and a share. And there you can send that show to all your friends. You can copy the link and do it that way too. That's like within Netflix. That's inside of Netflix itself. If you just want to say, hey, watch this show. I think the extension is a little bit more conversational and you'll be able to watch back and forth. But at least you can see your shows with your friends and everybody's on the same page and knowing what you're watching.
And then you text back and forth
you can
as you're
text
watching?
and, yeah, I think maybe if you have the Google extension,
right.
I think there could be some kind of a chat feature. Oh, Siri, stop. But yeah, so that's fun.
Now you can't congregate in one place,
Right?
so you got to make do with
FaceTime
whatever
with
you
your
can.
friends, hang out, chat.
Okay, very cool. I will be binge watching. I'm not sure what yet this weekend, but
Right.
I'll probably be binge watching something.
If you have Amazon Prime, this video.
I do.
Have you ever gone
I do.
through, like if you're choosing something, a lot of times people just stop and they'll look at the previews or whatever. But if you go down farther, there's a feature called X-Ray. And IMBD, which is an Amazon company, is feeding information into
great.
Amazon. And while the movie is playing, it'll pop up factoids and fun things that you can kind of see with your family and whatnot. So
Very cool.
They have trivia, stuff about the music, there's backstage stuff. And again, that's the X-Ray feature that's available on Prime Video on some select movies. Also, if you just scroll down, there's a lot more info on the movies.
You're old enough to remember pop-up videos, right?
Right, pop-up videos.
Yeah, and it was great. And now it's kind of like you do the same thing with your favorite shows
back
or
again.
movies.
And by the way,
Pretty cool.
Disney Plus, you can stream 4 devices on one account.
How many can you do on Netflix now? Did they limit it back to 1? Or can you do 7?
I'm not going to say because I may or may not have knowledge of my parents utilizing
Our codes
someone else's account.
Yeah, a lot of people still do that. Our Health Hub is back. Does vitamin D really help combat the coronavirus? Our experts are here with Monica. They're going to answer more of your questions.
And Stephanie's joining us remotely today as we continue our distancing. Hi there, Stephanie. What's clicking in Cleveland?
Hey there, you guys. Thank goodness for football because it is business as usual in the NFL. We'll check in on what the Cleveland Browns have going on during free agency. Also, Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood want to hear from you, and we'll tell you why. Now we'll check in with Michael Estime on the weather. Michael?
Stephanie, thank you. After a Friday filled with scattered showers and a few severe thunderstorms, we have a much cooler weekend ahead. We'll talk about temperatures hovering around freezing for highs coming up.
Well, our health hub is back, and today we're talking about how coronavirus is impacting younger people.
Monica Robbins live in the newsroom now with a medical expert. Hi again, Monica.
Hi, guys. Yeah, today joining me is Dr. Fred Plecha. He is the Chief Medical Officer from Southwest General, part of the University Hospital System. And I told everybody if they have their kids coming back from spring break, they need to know something. We saw all that video of these kids not heeding anybody's advice, hanging out on the beaches. That's serious, though, isn't it?
I think it is. I think they're not following what we would hope they would, which is social distancing. And hot weather does not prevent this disease necessarily either. There was some myth about that at some point, too. When they come back, they could be bringing it with them. And I think that's not to be scary people, but I think your comment about not hugging grandma is a good one. And I think some social distancing in the home and keeping people home and self-monitoring would be recommended. I think taking your temperature every day and looking for symptoms, I don't think they should go to the hospital to be checked unless they're sick, but they should be watching for signs.
The governor in his press conference today actually said for those people who are coming back from out of town, he wanted them actually to, quarantine for a few days. Is that realistic?
I think it's a good recommendation. I think it comes from the Department of Health, the CDC, all the formal bodies that set the guidelines for us. This is what they're saying. We're not making this up. And I think the 14 days is what it takes to ride out this virus is probably what you need to be thinking. Not just 3 days, not just see if I get a fever, but really seriously 5 to 14 days onset of disease is what you have to be worried about.
Are you finding that people are really starting to get it at this point now? They're starting to take it seriously or no?
I think most people are. I think that there's always outliers on either end. But remember, there's no immunity to this, so there's no invincibility. And so I think that people have to remember that they're all susceptible. As you mentioned earlier, young people can get sick. We worry a lot about the old folks getting sick and passing because they're not able to withstand the disease. But we don't know in this country what's going to happen to young people yet.
And quickly, let's talk about other countries. What valuable lessons are we learning from elsewhere that has been those countries that have been dealing from this?
Well, if you look at Korea versus Italy, I think there's a big difference in how the Koreans separated themselves from each other and quarantined the disease, which I think saved lives. In Italy, the message that we're getting from the doctors there is that they were very slow to take it serious. They were not distancing themselves from each other, and they therefore got behind. It was community spread like wildfire there, and they weren't able to get under control now. And now they're running out of hospital beds because they didn't pay attention early. So the early interventions that we're trying to do here in Ohio, I think, are absolutely critical.
So you agree with what we're doing, and I would expect to see we're going to do even more soon.
Yes, and the limitations we're setting on social gathering, even entry to hospitals right now, very important factors.
All right, Dr. Plecha, thank you so much. Back to you guys.
Right. Thank you so much, guys. And, Monica and Dr. Plecha will be back to answer more questions tonight on What Matters Most starting at 6.
Well, despite the call to stay home, people still need to eat. It's a necessity of life.
It definitely is. Folks have been out trying to find all the stuff that they need. But Baker and Emily Mayfield have teamed up with Town Hall to help feed the needy in a cool way.
This is really cool. The Mayfields will help pay the wages of Town Hall employees while they pack and deliver meals for St. Augustine's Hunger Center. The center normally serves in-house meals, but since they can't do that now, Town Hall, its employees, the Mayfields, and Phantom Fireworks work together to make sure seniors have food, delivering several thousand meals this week alone. I spoke with Emily Mayfield within the hour.
We really wanted to give back to St. Augustine Hunger Center. We had partnered with them previously for Feed the Need. And I just think what Sister Carita does to help provide meals for the homeless and elderly is incredible. And without Town Hall and Bobby George and other people giving back, they would not be open at this time, and that would really lose out on 2,000 plus meals a week for people.
It's super important. Like, to whom much is given, much is expected. You know, I don't know, the way I was raised is if you have, it's your job to give.
Absolutely. Baker and Emily's donation is providing 40,000 meals. Bobby George says that Baker didn't hesitate at all. Neither did his employees, who are now, as I said, working very long hours to make sure that these meals are prepared and packed and ready to be delivered.
But it takes, pressure off of them too, because they are still able to provide for their families and, pay the bills. And it's kind of this wagon wheel effect. It just keeps going around. It's really cool.
Emily had told me that if not for donations like this and others, that St. Augustine's would have shut down. They wouldn't have been able to deliver these meals. And there are countless Clevelanders that rely on these meals. So again, thank you to all that help. Please continue.
It's a beautiful thing. Well, it's time now to get a check on your forecast. Michael Estime is also joining us from his home. Michael, we had some hot and heavy weather coming through earlier today, but boy, things have changed now.
That is the absolute truth, and it was wonderful this morning. We actually made it into the upper 60s and low 70s for highs. It's the first full day of spring, and man, oh man, it felt like it. But as Betsy said, not for long. Let me take you to the maps and show you what it looks like. Temperatures taking a tumble throughout the remainder of the afternoon, through the evening, and yes, even into the overnight hours as well. You'll notice that temperatures by 9 o'clock slip.
All right. Well, we'll just pick up from there. This is one of the fun things about everybody working from home, certainly. Well, there is a line of thunderstorms that's moving outbound. We still have some flood warnings that are in effect in our far southern counties, but for the most part, the rain is out of here. We do have river flood warnings to talk about. The Black River in Lorain County, Killbuck Creek, which it definitely has some issues. We had some wind issues. Worcester reported 1-inch tree limbs blown down, too. There's a look at the current temperatures. We're in the 40s along the lakeshore now, 60s farther south. There's that line as it came through, and brisk northwesterly winds continue to blow in, so certainly that is making things interesting. This computer is like taking off, and I'm not even in charge of clicking apparently anymore. But there's a look at your current wind speeds, sustained anywhere from 15 to 25, wind gusts up over 25. And as we now take a look at your National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast, the 30s are back, Jay. Do you see that? I know. This just makes you so happy. But the problem is that not only do we have temperatures in the 30s, but it's still windy, so it feels even colder. And yeah, can't completely rule out a few flurry chances, but by afternoon, look at that. We clear out, and we are off to a gorgeous day here in NEO. There is a look at your Universal Windows Direct forecast. We're right back into the 40s through the weekend, and rain chances are going to be returning by midweek. We also have a pot back into the 60s, which could maybe bring a little bit of rumbly weather back on Thursday. We'll be right back.
Well, the Browns certainly are making some big moves, and we are very excited to be tracking every single second of it.
Well, for sports fans, this is really a crazy time because it's supposed to be the best time of the year. You got the NCAA tournament, baseball's getting ready to start, but no. Games are canceled. That means, really, that the NFL free agency period is the only game in town. And as Stephanie Haney joins us for Clicking to Cleveland, the Browns have been very busy, Steph.
You are right about that, Jay. They've been very busy. We've been tracking all of their moves. They're making some big moves. Here's what's happening so far right now in the Browns world. So if you take a look at the names on this screen, probably the first one that's going to be exciting to you is Austin Hooper. He is a Pro Bowl tight end. He's going to be one of Baker's top weapons for sure. Also, Jack Conklin, he's a top offensive lineman. That's a big get for us in terms of being more competitive. That's a hole that we definitely needed to fill.
Yes.
Looking at more of the people that we're looking at bringing on right now, JoJo Natson actually played at Akron. So he's coming home to us. Now, all the guys you're seeing on this screen, they've got 1-year deals. Now, we need to take a look, though, as well at who we've lost. And that's who you're looking at right here. Christian Kirksey, he's the guy who brought us dog check. Yeah. So he is out of the building, unfortunately. He's moved on. And Joe Schobert. Both of these guys have played their entire career at the Browns. But it's time for them to move on, and so we will hopefully be filling those positions and, making some headway there. All right, now we're going to talk about another guy who is near and dear to us all in Ohio, and also Ohio is pretty near and dear to him. We're talking about Garth Brooks. And it was not that long ago that Garth Brooks was at the Dusty Armadillo. And if you remember, that ticket was pretty hard to get. But now you can get a front row seat to his next live show for free. Garth and Trisha Yearwood are holding a 30-minute concert on Facebook. That's happening on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. They're calling it Inside Studio G. They're taking requests, and you need to use hashtag GarthRequestLive in order to do it. So I'm literally tweeting right now. I'm requesting Friends in Low Places, taking it back to those homecoming dance days at Perry High School. I think this is going to be a good one.
I like it. Very nice. Stephanie, thanks. We'll see you in a little bit.
Spice up your pantry, Jay.
Read.
Some simple ways to make those staples into a tasty meal. This is where everybody throws you shade, right? As soon as you wipe your nose or cough, people give you the dirtiest looks.
Well, that's why
I'm
facing the other direction.
Okay, go. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas too, because Mike Polk is going to be explaining why people are putting holiday lights out again. Can you talk yet? No.
Those are December pictures.
Those were December pictures. But
that's
people are putting them back out. And then fresh air, of course, some safe ways to enjoy the outdoors this weekend. Are you okay? I can't even pat you on the back.
I needed water.
We'll get you some water.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Welcome back to What's New. We made it. We made it to Friday. Somehow we got here. Thank you so much for spending time with us. With Betsy Kling, I'm Jay Crawford, and we begin this half hour with one of those messages of hopes and neighbors helping neighbors. A mystery artist wrote this message in the parking lot at Southwest General Hospital in Middleburg Heights.
It's on display for all patients to see as they make their way in for their appointments. It says, sending sunshine to brighten your day. Who doesn't need that? Now, whoever you are our three hero. We want to shine a light on those making a difference in Northeast Ohio during this time of the pandemic. And you can tweet us the story and a picture if you can using the hashtag 3heroes. We do want to see who the heroes are in your community. You can also text the word heroes with a brief description and a picture to 216-344-3300. Again, that's a text message to us.
Very cool. Whoever you are, thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
We all need those messages right now.
And our unsung hero right now, Rob Bob, give the man a drink.
Thank you, my friend.
Yes, all right. He's going to take a drink, and we're going to toss it over to Russ Mitchell with the headlines making the news at the bottom of the hour.
Now, just to clarify, when you say Mr. Crawford's taking a drink, you mean water?
It is water.
Yeah, okay.
It's
all
water
right. Right,
to go, actually.
Tastes like water.
All right, just making sure. All right, guys. Good afternoon. The number of Ohioans filing for unemployment continues to grow. The state has received almost 140,000 unemployment insurance benefit applications online this week alone. That compares to less than 5,000 last week. A Kent firefighter is tested positive for coronavirus. The firefighter is not a Portage County resident, but the Kent City Fire Department says he may have had some significant interaction with people in the community. The department says it's taking extra precautions to protect both its workers and the public. And during this crisis, a reminder that Cleveland's West Side Market remains open for in-person shopping, and customers will now be able to contact vendors to place an order. They can also make arrangements for payments and pick up at 2 designated areas near the main building.
It's a great idea.
I'll see you at 6. Jay, you good?
I'm good, yeah. At least for now. I mean, I'm as they say, I'm day to day.
I understand.
I'm currently moment to moment.
The fun part is when his eyes get real big and he points to me.
Yeah, what they can't see is when we're in video and I'm done. I go. It's like tag team. You're it.
Been there, my friend. I understand.
The water helped immensely.
Thanks so much, Rich. We'll see you soon. All right, it's time now for our top talker. We know everybody's been stocking up on some extra food. Maybe you grabbed some herbs and spices, dried stuff that you may not have used before or you're new to. Well, now when you sit down to cook, things could be a little bit different. Dietitian Stephanie Hopkins from University Hospitals told us how to get the best flavor from dried herbs.
Dried herbs and spices often are more concentrated in flavor than any fresh options, so add dried herbs and spices to the beginning of the cooking process.
All right, you do that.
I do.
I saw you do that when you made your little corned beef thing.
Exactly.
I was paying attention.
You were.
Oh, I had someone ask me, where do you get that? That little packet?
It comes, so if you buy a flat cut brisket.
Okay, it comes with it.
It says it's corned beef, which it's all on sale right now. If you want to stock your freezer with something, get one of those corned beef things and that little magical packet is in there.
Seriously, I had a couple people ask me, what was that packet of spices she put in there?
That's the magic.
Now you know. Okay, she also shared with us favorite spices to pair up with certain foods. Watch.
Some of my favorite spices are cinnamon, cumin, and ginger. Cinnamon can be used in both sweet and savory dishes. Try mixing it on top of roasted root vegetables like roasted carrots or roasted sweet potatoes. Cumin is used in a variety of different cuisines and has a nice earthy flavor. Try mixing it into a 3-bean chili or a lentil stew. Ginger has a nice little zest to it. It also can be used as a meat tenderizer, so try using this as a powder rub on chicken breast before you roast it.
Now keep in mind, this is one thing that is not in our script, but there can be interactions with certain medications if you're trying new herbs and spices.
Really?
So check things out. Well, cumin is a part of Coumadin, which is a blood thinner for a lot of folks. So you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to mess that up a little bit. Ginger and all that stuff.
I love ginger. I love cinnamon.
Yeah, just make sure if you are on medication, sometimes you want to research that a little bit. Anyway, she added that herbs and spices are a digestive aid for many and can increase your antioxidant intake. There we go. And It's time now for your pop break.
I thought we were going to hear from her again.
Nope.
I guess not.
Pay attention. That's in the script, actually. Pay attention. There's a local connection this time. Here's Stephanie Haney.
Full House fans know Danny Tanner was a clean freak.
Now, what is dirt?
Dirt bad. Turns out the man behind the character, Bob Saget, doesn't like dirt either, tweeting, "Oh my God, I spend my day cleaning and vacuuming and sanitizing everything in the house. I have become Danny Tanner." Us too, Bob. Need a little help occupying your kids? Jennifer Garner's got you.
Can I have some of that seaweed so I can build a house?
Garner and Amy Adams have started a charity called Save with Stories and are enlisting the aid of big names like Noah Centineo, Hoda Kotb, and Mrs. Kasha Davis from RuPaul's Drag Race to read books online in support of people in need. Speaking of occupying those kiddos, maybe a new movie will help.
No way! It's a wizard staff. Dad was a wizard.
What? Your dad was an accountant. Disney and Pixar's Onward is coming to digital download ahead of schedule, starting tonight at 8 o'clock. It shows up on Disney Plus April 3rd, and get this, one of the guys who worked on the animated film is Michael Neves, who went to high school in Parma. And just like the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, we're all connected in some way, so who better to remind us that we should stay home for everyone's well-being?
Every one of us has someone who is worth staying home for. And I am staying home for Kira Sedgwick.
Bacon is challenging all of us to share our reason for keeping to ourselves using hashtag #IStayHomeFor. Demi Lovato, David Beckham, and Eva Longoria are just a few who have already jumped on Bacon's bandwagon. Who are you staying home for?
Well, I'm staying home for my lovely wife and my 2 dogs. My cat's also going to be at the house, but, you know, probably not staying home for her. But definitely for my wife, Tracy, and Layla and Maddie.
Look who is joining us there. Is that the wonderful Winston?
Say hello.
Oh, there! Finally,
this is
we
Harry
meet.
Winston the Puggle, yes.
Looks very
We're
chill
over
right
here
now.
Staying home for my mom and dad, you know, and everybody at home. Oh my gosh, yeah, he's so chill. I just woke him up from a nap. Thankfully. Sorry if you heard him snoring, but that's just kind of what happens around here.
He's ready to fall asleep again right now.
Yeah, he looks exhausted.
I know.
Poor guy.
Well, we're glad that you can
It's been a
enjoy
rough
Winston
day.
more
It's
now
a
that
rough
you're
day
home.
being Winston.
Yes, definitely. Thank you
Yeah,
so much,
for sure.
Stephanie. Have a great weekend. Well, new at 5, we know a lot of you are probably looking for new hobbies, and you can take a page out of this guy's book. A really cool thing he's been doing for his friends and family for years.
And Michael's back with us. Michael, how's the weather looking?
Betsy and Jay, thank you so much. Well, of course, we actually made it earlier today to the upper 60s and low 70s in spots. Hope that you enjoyed it, because after those line of showers and thunderstorms roared through, that's going to significantly cool the temperatures overnight tonight and then through the day tomorrow. We'll talk about highs on your Saturday coming up.
Well, lots of us are looking for any way to safely spread joy around our neighborhoods and our communities. And here at 3 News, we have been hearing all kinds of great ideas, from people hanging flags and signs to putting back their Christmas lights.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet, but I'm on the lookout. Who else spreads joy like our very own Mike Polk Jr.? So we thought we'd check in and see what he's been up to.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from 3 News, keeping a safe social distance from everybody around me. You're welcome! I saw online that some people, in order to cheer other people up, are putting Christmas lights on their house. And I don't have a lot going on, so let's do it. Well, it's a rainy day during a pandemic in March. Guess I'm gonna put up some Christmas lights. You know, this way families can drive around, look at lights. I have never put Christmas lights on the outside of my house before. It took a pandemic for me to become festive like this. Okay, so that's one tree. I'm already soaked and bored. I understand when my dad swore so much when I was a kid and he was putting up the Christmas tree. No one else in my neighborhood that I've seen has Christmas lights up, except for the people who just leave theirs up all year. They were accidentally already participating in this. Okay. I'm gonna need a ladder. These are those old Christmas lights from the 1970s. Put this slippery ladder right here at an angle. Here we go. And there's nothing to tie these onto. They're just gonna kind of be draped. They got clips on them. I didn't even see those. Boy, they knew how to make them in the 70s, didn't they? I'm putting up Christmas lights. I'm combating adversity with joy. Honestly, now that I've got the hang of this, if anybody needs me to come and put up Christmas lights or something. Oh, geez. I'm having a hard time getting these up here, ladies. These are definitely not outdoor lights. Should I put some tin foil on this broken one? All right, well, they're up. I didn't die. Now it's just a matter of plugging this in over at the neighbors to save myself some money, and we can light her up. Hey! It's not great. I hope this doesn't make people more sad. But the important thing is that I tried, and that's all any of us can do right now. Actually, I got one more thing. Hold on. There we go. Spread some cheer, everybody. There's nothing better to do. This is Mike for 3 News.
Oh,
very festive.
Mike, you have been such a welcome diversion.
Right?
At least for me, I enjoy your sense of humor as much as anyone's. And I love the fact that he's borrowing the electricity from his neighbor.
He
That's
lives
so
next
Mike.
door to his sister, just
Yeah.
saying. So.
It was made a great story.
Little sibling rivalry.
Keep up the great work, Mike. We love it.
Well, hopefully he did get those clips on real good, because it's still windy out there.
I know.
Things have been blowing around this afternoon. The cold air is flowing in. Michael, you are back. We're so happy. And I have the clicker on standby just in case again. So let's see how this goes. How's that forecast looking for this weekend?
Yeah, Betsy and Jay, thank you both very much. Yeah, technology, oh my goodness. Well, here's the deal. If you're heading out and about this evening, grab the jackets. As you know, earlier today, it was nice and warm. Temperatures made it into the upper 60s and lower 70s. Throughout the evening, we'll continue to fall through the out. In the upper 20s overnight, there's that line of scattered showers and thunderstorms that actually produced a ton of rainfall, so much in fact that what you'll notice is that the National Weather Service did issue several flood warnings, one for the Black River in Lorain County, another for Killbuck Creek in Wayne and in Holmes County. So watch out for some higher waters, especially along some of those rivers, creeks, and streams in the area. And it also, those storms brought down a couple of trees, and you'll notice that in parts of Wayne County north of Worcester, about an inch tree limb was broken. So again, those were some pretty earlier today. We're in the upper 60s, low 70s. We have cooled down significantly, and boy, we will continue to do so with the northwest wind right off the water, anywhere between 15 to 25 miles per hour, at times gusting over 30. So again, a breezy evening if you're going to be heading out and about. Here's what your hour-by-hour forecast looks like, sponsored by National Design Mart. Now through, say, midnight, we'll certainly hang on to those clouds. Is there a chance we could see a stray snowflake or two tomorrow morning? Yes, but I'm not putting a whole lot into it. I think that we'll clear those clouds by tomorrow afternoon. More sunshine in store, but unfortunately, that sunshine really not helping to warm temperatures. On Saturday, we are stuck just barely above freezing in the mid-30s before we finally land in the upper 40s by Sunday, and then Sunday night into Monday. A couple of rain showers in store before we cruise right back into the 50s by Tuesday and on Wednesday. And notice that by next Thursday, guys, fingers crossed, we'll make it back into the lower 60s, and I'm hoping that by that point we'll see perhaps a couple of peaks of sunshine, but again, some storms in the forecast on Thursday as well. Jay and Betsy?
Right. Thank you so much, Michael. We really appreciate it. We'll be back at 7 with more on the forecast. Well, I know a lot of folks are kind of sitting at home. Some of them are twiddling their thumbs, but this coronavirus probably has a lot of you looking for some new hobbies. And I might have one for you. Memory books. I had a family reach out to me not too long ago, the family of Bob Crone, who lives in Westlake. He is 98 years old. And for years, they have had him write down his memories. And then they turned it into memory books. I had a chance last weekend, after completely dousing myself in hand sanitizer and not touching anyone, of going and getting this fantastic picture with this family. Thank you so much for inviting me into your home. And they gave me copies of the books.
That's cool.
So the really cool part about this
How long has he been doing this?
This is from 2013,
okay.
and it literally starts with, this is the family plot, and then look here, it all began on January 10th, 1922, and then we have had the books that kind of go in succession with all kinds of stories. He was in the military, and then the last one that was just put out this year in 2020, his grandchildren asked him questions. And one of the questions one of the grandkids asked was, do you have a bucket list and what's on it? And they say, Bob answers and says, for one thing, I have a couple of favorite news reporters, including a couple of weather reporters. I always liked at Channel, the God, if you will, over down the street. And he says, Dick Goddard.
Yeah.
He says, I also enjoy Betsy on Channel 3. I'd love to see the facilities and meet them. Well, we were all set up to have the family come in.
Now we can't come.
And we didn't get to, so I went to see them and say hello. So thanks to them. This is what families should be doing right now. If you're elderly, grandparents, parents, whomever, aunts, uncles, get their stories and write them down. Have them save some pictures. This is a lifetime of memories, and it's
great idea.
Wonderful. It's such a snapshot of history in Westlake. I'm learning so much.
You know what some people do too is they sit down, elderly relatives, and they interview them on camera, and you have the video memory, and you can pass that down for generations.
This is
Smart
cherished.
idea.
So thank you to the Crone family. Hi, Bob. Thanks for watching.
Hello, Bob. Stay well.
Yeah, definitely. Well, new at 5. You're still allowed to go outside, so you might as well enjoy it. We're back with some outdoor activities.
I am allowed to go outside?
You are
Oh,
allowed.
good. Oh, awesome.
Thank you. Check 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 down at Wallace Lake and Strongsville, where, of course,
Welcome back to What's New. It's only been a week, but we know many of you are getting cabin fever. One of the few things left to do is to go outside and enjoy some fresh air.
Man, the past 24 hours have been so good for it, too. Will Ewick joins us live from a Metro Park in Strongsville with some safe ideas to keep you busy this weekend. Hi there, Will.
Yeah, Betsy, I got to tell you, the temperature's dropping just a bit since I've been out here, but you're absolutely right. It's been beautiful all day until when I get out here, and of course, we're going to bring the temperature down. But you're absolutely right. People hear social distancing, but that doesn't mean social isolation. You can still get outside, and if the weather's permitting, even if it's not, it's a good idea to get out of the outside, out of the house, and go do some cool things. Now, the Metro Parks right now, you think of walking and hiking and things like that, but things that you may not have thought about, fishing, of course. The lakes are open. They're not frozen over. You can do a little bit of biking, some backpacking, or how about bird watching? And the really cool thing going on right now is that the Metro Parks actually have virtual classrooms 3 times a day right now at 11, 1, and 3:30. So they're showing you some of these things that you may not be familiar with that you can go practice. So you're not really familiar with bird watching. They have different classes to teach you about bird watching so that you know what you're doing when you go out to do some bird watching. They have some things to teach you how to get your bike set if it's been in the garage all winter and you want to get it prepped and go, about setting skis. A lot of different classes they have that you can then go put into practice and, of course, keep your social distancing. But there is something to realize if you do come to the Metro Parks. It is March, so things may be a little bit different.
Well, this is still March, and so it's early season, and I think the amenities that you'll find in parks in a lot of ways, a lot of bathrooms are closed. Bring a water bottle, bring some hand wipes, be respectful, pack it in, pack it out, do the right things, use some common sense, adapt to this new normal, but use nature as that therapy that everybody's really looking for. We have 24,000 acres, 18 unique park reservations, and we're ready and waiting for you.
And Jay and Betsy, I got to say, I'm feeling better already. Just being out here, getting some fresh air. I had the windows open today, and I spoke with a doctor at UH a little bit earlier today who says you're absolutely right. I mean, it is very key and vital to your mental health, your emotional health, not to feel like you're cooped up. Get outside, keep your distance, but you can still go outside and do things. I know you may not be a fan, but even some yard work. If you want to go out and kind of get your yard prepped or your garden prepped, if the weather's permitting in the next couple of weeks, probably a good idea to do something like that as well.
Hey, I'm a huge fan. In fact, when I'm done with mine, if you need some at your house, give me a call. I love it that much.
Really?
Oh,
I'm going to take you up on that, and I'm going to hold you to it.
I will do it. I promise you.
I'm first in line. Sorry, I'm going to insert because we need all the help we can get.
You'll be number 2 on my list, though, Will. I promise you. I promise.
Okay, I'll take it.
All right, we are back to wrap up this edition of What's New with a Worth the Watch that came at the governor's request.
Oh.
Did that pique your interest?
Yes.
It piqued mine.
Now back to this gardening thing.
Give me a list of
Testing 1 2, testing 1 2 3 4. Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, I was, Mike, check Monica. I was supposed to be off today and Monday, and I gave the days back. They told me.
Well, yesterday, some of you may have heard Governor Mike DeWine asked all Ohioans to put out their flags, either American flag or Ohio State flag, as a sign of solidarity during the coronavirus pandemic. I thought it was a great thing to do, a unifier, and it didn't take long before people did exactly what he asked them to do. Take a look. It's very cool.
Look at that. This is when Americana comes around.
I get goosebumps over stuff like this.
I mean, it's just kind of nice. A lot of people keep their flags inside during the winter, but now is the time to get it out and share. It's a sign of solidarity.
Yeah,
and the Ohio State flag, I think that was kind of an interesting touch because there's a lot of people who maybe didn't go to Ohio State, but you have the option with the U.S. flag, of course. Oh, and the chalk drawings. That's a great way to get kids involved in it.
It is. I love it. So, in fact, I meant to do it last night when I got home and I forgot. When I get home tonight, I'm going to fly mine proudly. I normally do every day anyhow, but in the winter time, I tend to bring it in. But it's going to be out in no time, and we hope you do the same. We're all in this together, remember.
Definitely. I'm going to get my mini artists on that tonight for sure. Well, thank you so much for staying with us this week. We hope to bring you some more bright spots next week, too.
We're back Monday at 5. What matters most starts now.